What's up, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the PYRB podcast. This is a podcast for the fans, by the fans, and that's purple, yellow, red, and blue, if you were wondering, obviously. Each episode, a guest will join alongside myself and talk about everything going on with Portugal The Man. My name's Mark, and joining me today is...
Hi guys, I'm Kevin. Most of you might know me as Rotten42 from most of the message boards that have been out there. Glad to be here and happy to share my experience with you guys.
Nice one, Kevin. Happy to have you as well. Thank you. Yeah, short notice. It was a shortly arranged thing this evening. Rotten42. What's that name? Is that just you just made that up, or is there a backstory to that?
There's a little backstory. So, I mean, 42, that comes from Douglas Adams and The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The fact that 42 is the ultimate answer to everything and anything out there. And Rotten, that came from an old website that I used to frequent when I was in a little bit of an adolescent, the rotten.com, which no longer exists, I don't believe. But yeah, it's just one of those kind of all the way out there, worst of the worst websites you could possibly think of.
I've heard stories of rotten.com, don't worry about that. It was kind of the precursor to Reddit, and well, it's not going anywhere. Yeah. Is it still up in some capacity?
No, I'm pretty sure it's quite closed out now. It's most likely got in trouble for numerous things that they used to post on there. It's one of those things, if your parents ever walked in you on that one, you'd probably be banned from using the computer for the rest of your life.
Oh man, I feel you there, yeah. Anyway, Kevin, how are you doing? How are you doing on this fine day of recording?
Oh, I'm doing nice. It's nice and sunny out here in Southern California. It's just getting ready for the summer weather, you know.
Oh, mate.
Ready for concerts to get all back into full swing after almost 2 years of being shut down.
Nice. Yeah, I'm here in England, and we had 1 day of sun yesterday, and it's been bloody miserable. It's just poured it down all day, which is typical England, you know. It's 20 degrees centigrade, which is like something 70 Fahrenheit. I'm really bad with the translation. But yeah.
Oh, trust me, I wouldn't be able to do it either.
Yeah, we got one really nice day where it's like, oh man, it's kind of warm, and then just rain. But anyway, enough about a Brit talking about the weather. It's basically first of all, we'll do a couple little warm up topics just to kind of get into it. So Kevin, first time hearing PTM, tell me about it. Do you remember?
Actually, I remember it very vividly. My very first time hearing Portugal was back in 2006. It was probably either just before or just after Waiters had dropped. A friend of mine and I were really into this band called Dredge. If you've ever heard them, they're a really great band. We drove up from Southern California to Northern California to see them at this place called The Catalyst in Santa Cruz. And we had no clue who the opening act was. I honestly thought they were called the Portuguese Man of War, because jellyfish.
That's a great name.
We sat there on the beach before the show, just kind of hanging out, eating mushrooms, actually.
Oh, wow.
And then ended up getting in line to go see the show. And we got in early enough to catch the opening act, which ended up being Portugal. And they just completely blew me away. They were phenomenal. Their sound was amazing. They had a very interesting setup on stage. Instead of having the lights coming down on top of them, they had their lights set up underneath the microphones on the floor. And as they would sing, the light would kind of illuminate upwards. And it gave them almost feel of like they were singing around a campfire in a way. And it was very psychedelic folksy. And it caught me, and I fell in love with them at that point in time. After the show, I ran downstairs, and I just grabbed a CD right off of their merch booth, opened it up, and had them sign it. And I didn't realize until I got home, it was actually an Anatomy of a Ghost CD.
Oh, no! All right. Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we were hanging out afterwards, after the show in the parking lot, and I'm wearing a Mars Volta t-shirt. And Jason comes up to me, and he pokes me in the chest. He's like, I really like that band.
No way, man. All right. God, wow. So they were selling something from Anatomy of a Ghost at that point. Oh, 2006. It would have been that kind of crossover time. So,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was maybe it definitely wasn't their first tour, but it was first tour I had ever even heard of them at any point in time. And we got back to Southern California, and I ran around all the record stores trying to find a copy of their album. I finally found it at a Best Buy. They only had 2 copies left, and I grabbed one, and I never took it out of my CD player for almost an entire year.
God, yeah, that first one is just it's actually not bad. I like it still. There's some magic there,
Oh, I
but
love that album. Yeah, I mean, it's got such a different vibe from everything that was kind of coming out in 2006. It was
yeah.
interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you said so you went to see them do it they were the warm up act basically, and
Yeah, they were.
I mean they probably would be at
Yeah,
that
no,
time.
yeah,
Being the smaller
they're
one. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I mean they were the openers because they that album had just come out, and for the most part, I think they were they either self-produced or they had just been picked up by Ferret Records. It's kind of like that same about that time for them. So I mean, there wasn't a lot of hype around them. Definitely nothing like they have today, and there's no radio play, nothing like that going on. So it was all just their tours that were getting them out there at that point.
all right, nice, awesome. That is a that is a distinctive memory. You know, you mentioned about the lights the other way. You know, from the on the stage beaming up or underneath the mic, sorry, and beaming up, and that kind of campfire, that kind of just something different. And I always like that vibe because they are a little bit different, and I don't know, I can relate to it, and I've always loved them for that as well. Just being, I don't know who they are, just something different. You know, they're just people at the end of the day. I don't know, I just always vibe with them. But that's a great one. 2006. Wow, you're an OG. That is an OG memory. Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to say like I'm probably not one of the, but like one of the longer lasting fans from the Southern California area because every time they came around after that, I made sure I would grab tickets to see them. I think I only maybe missed them a handful of times. One time they were touring with Fall of Troy, and they just completely sold out the venue before we could get there, and I stood out front trying to get tickets for it, but ended up missing out on that one. But yeah, no, every time they come around, I was just like, all right, cool, get tickets. So, they're playing here. They're going to play at the Troubadour. They're going to play at the Whiskey. They're going to play at Festival. They're playing at USC on like a parking lot. They're going to play at the Glass House in Pomona. All right, let's do this. Let's go for it.
That's brilliant, man. Yeah, I'm so jealous of Americans because, you know, being British, they have come over here, but I've actually still not seen them. Unfortunately, I've just, with bad timing, not been able to catch them.
Wow.
And yeah, I know. Since the pandemic as well, it's like, ooh, it's going to be a few more years delay. You know, since I've been able to like drive, start driving, and then it's like a bit more confident. Okay, I could definitely do this, and then, you know, and then the pandemic is like, oh, brilliant. Okay, so, yeah, definitely high on the agenda list, but yeah, no, I you said 2006. I'm a bit later. I'm a 2011. That's kind of when I first jumped in as a fan. Probably became a sort of super fan or a kind of higher tier fan maybe a few years later. But yeah, definitely with In the Mountain, In the Cloud. Jumped in at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
don't have 2011. That's 2011, that's when they got picked up by Atlantic Record, and yeah, that's when they started getting a lot more publicity because they actually had a major label backing them at that point in time. I remember actually sat there with my wife watching them at the Troubadour, and I think there was an Atlantic Scout that was sitting right next to us, and she was talking about how she kind of wanted to almost fine-tune their appearance for that stage because at that point in time, Johnny was almost playing in the same guise as Jim Morris from the Doors. He would never completely face the audience. He'd either be at like a half cheat or almost with his back to the audience and just completely rock him out, whether it was like he was shy or if it was just the persona he created for the stage. But yeah, it was great. I got so many old not VHS tapes, but high 8 tapes that we used to sneak camcorders into these venues and just record all the shows.
Oh mate, yeah, I about the thing with John as well. I mean, I'd be bloody scared as well to do that sort of thing, so I don't blame him for being like, yeah, I'm just gonna, you know, just gonna face Jason. It's probably a bit easier. Zach, what's going on there? You do the talking. You're the
Zach is definitely the talker of the band.
Through my time, I think I've watched it's got to be almost every interview from like every like small like outlet or station or things like that, and then time after time it's always like Zach, and he's always, during the pandemic, he was always doing like podcasts and stuff like that. It was like every couple of weeks there'd be a new one. Yeah, but 2006. Wow. Anyway, yeah, excellent, nice. So Kevin, tell us a bit more about yourself. Then you said you live in Southern California. Very nice. You don't have to dox yourself. Don't worry. I'm not. I'm not I'm not asking for a door number.
No.
Yeah, tell us about yourself. What do you do? Apart from visiting.
I guess
PZM.
Yeah, I'm one of the type of people. I guess you could call me like a music junkie in a way.
Oh, nice.
I grew up obviously out here in Southern California. I'm like 45 minutes away from the ever famous Sunset Strip. And all through high school, I actually used to do street teaming and promoting for bands out there. So I'd be popping in and out of like the Key Club, the Whiskey, the Troubadour, hanging out in the Rainbow Room, going to the Roxy, going to the Palladium, just anything you could think of. I started out with metal labels, like Roadrunner Records and Century Media back in the day. And then after... I mean, it's kind of weird, but there's a big change in the music scene after 9/11 out here, where all that really heavy, aggressive, angry music kind of got pushed to the side. Clear Channel kind of really changed up a lot of the style for radio play and stuff like that. So you start to see kind of the fall of metal and new metal and hardcore and all that stuff, and a rise of indie. And from there, started hanging out with a bunch of friends that listened to the Mars Volta, and created a huge musical family group out of the Mars Volta. We would travel everywhere to go see them, basically. Any chance we could, we would, just like Portugal, go see them. They became like my number one band to see until Portugal came along, and Portugal actually ended up surpassing the amount of times that I've seen the Mars Volta. And I've created almost that same family group through Portugal by talking to different fans and meeting people on different boards and meeting up with them later on in real life and hanging out with them, going to shows. I think the last time we actually saw them, a group of us flew out to Colorado and saw them at the Red Rocks Amphitheater doing the latest tour, and that was just phenomenal.
Oh, mate. Red Rocks, that's the outside kind of, it's quite a large... I might be getting... There's one in California as well that's kind of very similar. I'm getting confused between the two. Sorry, not an American stadium expert. Should brush up on that. But yeah, oh, nice. But they haven't released anything in... Are they... I think... I don't want to call them done and dusted, but it's been a few years, hasn't it? So... They've started before...
Yeah, I mean, the last full album that they dropped was Evil Friends, I believe. Oh, no.
You're getting mixed up.
Woodstock 2017. Yeah, it's like, I sometimes get them mixed up. But yeah, no, Woodstock was the last full album.
Oh, no, I meant Volta. I was talking about them, sorry. No, I was talking about the Volta.
Volta. Yeah, no, yeah.
I'm less familiar.
Volta's done. Yeah, Volta, they got picked up on Maverick, and like the kind of psychedelic mystique that they had going for them kind of went out the window when they became a Grammy Award-winning band. I think the last album they had was Nocturnicate, which was almost a complete departure from their just super energetic style that they used to have with the Last in the Comatorium, Francis the Mute, Mecha Architecture. No, Goliath. It was the Goliath album, I think. But yeah, then they kind of split off. They had their own thing going for a while. Omar, who's a phenomenal guitar player, if you've ever get a chance to see him, at the Omar Rodriguez trio. Cedric had Anti-Mask going on. They got back together as At the Drive-In for a little while, and actually released, I think, a new album in the last couple of years as At the Drive-In. And
nice.
Bringing up that post-punk scene, I mean, it's really, really good for what it is. It's just, it's not the same. There was a point when at Mars Volta, they had this huge wind section. So they had a brass section, they had wind instruments coming in, they had super phenomenal drummers playing with them, just kind of off and on throughout the touring. And then one day we went to go see them, and all of a sudden the brass section was missing. and it just almost lost that wall of sound. If you know what that is, that sonic wall of sound when you go see someone live and the music just hits you in full
Mm.
force, it just kind of felt like it was almost lacking at that point in time. And this kind of almost felt like it was on a decline from there for the Volta.
Oh man. Ah well. Cool. Wow. Hell of a career they've had then, I suppose. I mean, but yeah, it's good to see people like come back during the pandemic and give things another go. I mean, yeah, definitely sounds So I'm not crazy familiar. I have to be honest. They're not on my radar. But
Yeah.
they started when I was pretty young. So yeah. All right. Nice. Anything else? Any other like tidbits? Anything about yourself
Uh,
that the people know?
no, I don't know. I mean, not much to say. I mean, I work in international banking now. I've been, going on 37. I've been into the music scene since I was about 14, 15, and
Mm.
just that's where I've always wanted to be in the music scene. I bounced around to a couple different labels doing A&R stuff, but it unfortunately doesn't pay very well unless you're really, really close in with some of the higher ups.
Mm.
Um, and every now and then, I still get myself out there and make myself friends with some members of bands or people from labels or people that do promotions and stuff like that. And I do what I can to try and just get out and help bands, just whatever I can do. If I become friends with them, I'll sit there and stand outside after the show and hand out, like sampler CDs and things like that, pass along stickers, go to parties and put on music for my friends. Like, oh, you guys got to listen to this one. Oh, no, check out this band. Oh, you guys got to listen to this one. This one's gonna be a really great album. Oh, we got a leak of the new album. Come here and check this one out. Things like that. Anything you can do to promote the music you like and get it out to as many ears as you possibly can always helps out the bands. And I know a lot of bands really appreciate it because that's kind of that's their bread and butter for the most part.
It's word of mouth, and it's kind of something that we've lost a little bit with recent years. I think that's something as
Yeah,
well.
with
Yeah,
the
it's
the advent of
difficult. Yeah,
digital and all that stuff.
a little
Yeah, because
bit.
I came
Yeah,
up in the start of like Napster.
yeah. Sorry, Napster. Yeah, but not sorry. No, no, definitely. I remember. Oh gosh, yeah. I don't know. I had a train of thought there for a moment. Sorry. No, that sounds cool though, man. Honestly, just getting involved though with something you love. I think as any human being,
Yeah,
you have to jump for any opportunity you have to take and just jump on board to just really just I don't know, enjoy do what you love because before you know it,
yeah,
it's too late or you'll have regrets, or this that and the other. And like for me, I mean, I know it's nothing complete, but just for example, like I've had the plan to do this podcast for about a year. I was sat at home during the pandemic last year. We were in another lockdown, and I thought, you know what? No one's done this. No one's done like a fan thing. And I saw a group of guys do a start a Daft Punk one actually.
nice.
Yeah, like it was three mates. They did it. They recorded it, so much more professional than this. And I was listening to it, and I'm like, that's such a great idea, just to have like buddies, just like gather around and like talk about the band and memories and everything. And I was like, I think why couldn't I give that a go? And here I am. I bought an okay microphone. I'm here. I'm recording, and this will be up hopefully very soon on the internet, just for people to enjoy, just for free. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I just
Yeah,
like again this community, the PTM one. I mean, whether you're on Twitter, as suspect as that website is, Reddit, the Discord. The Discord is great. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like a really hearty community, and like all the comments are always so good, and the people always like. I mean, today in the Discord chat, just to give people reference, you're going in putting in like, oh, let me show off some of my like posters and everything, and I'm like, man, these look really cool. I have to be honest, I'm quite jealous of them. Like the penultimate one as well. That's
yeah,
awesome. John just looks so evil in that one. Sorry, audio listeners. Oh man, that's awesome. I
yeah.
do
No,
love them
it's
actually.
nothing. Yeah, And like that's one of my things. I used to like always buy T-shirts and all that stuff at concerts, but I started running out of room in my closet. And I just can't throw my T-shirts away from all the shows I've been to. So now I end up going. If every time I try to go to a concert, every time I do go to a concert, the first thing I look for is if there's a poster, and I'll usually grab that instead. So recently, I had to buy a huge flat storage file just because my poster collection is just over the top. I've got the whole Primus collections from tours. I got a whole bunch of Portugal ones. I've got Prince one from Coachella years and years ago.
Wow.
Just like I love collecting art. I actually have my Misfits one from when I saw that I flew up to New Jersey and saw the Misfits play for their part of the reunion back in 2018, and I've got that one sitting right above my computer. I've got Mars Volta hanging above my mantle. I can look to my left, and I got a Pussifer one, which is one of Tool's side projects over at my other side. Yeah, I mean, I love music. I'm actually going to be taking my niece and nephew to their first concert coming up next month. We're going to go see Weird Al.
Oh, nice.
I've been dying to see Weird Al ever since I was a little kid, and we finally got a chance to go see him.
I love that he collabed with PTM. Oh man, like several times actually now. Or one or two of them.
Yeah.
I think he even surprised John. He's like looking over and definitely doing like a live show, and he's like, "Oh man, that's Weird Al." He's just jamming out with us. That might have been a Zach memory, but still, they both love him. I mean, it's just.
I know. I love the Feel It Still remix he does with the accordion over the top.
The accordion.
That's definitely different. It's definitely something that you're not going to expect to hear on a Portugal song.
What do you expect to hear? I mean, it's 2022. We're in May. You know, it's been almost 5 years to Woodstock. From Woodstock, yeah. I feel like we're getting there. It's coming. I feel like the next project is coming. It's got to be. It's got to be soon.
I mean, it kind of feels like they've changed up their style throughout the years. I mean, the first album that they had, Waiters, was, like I said, just kind of like a really super unique sound. I remember talking to Rich, their manager, a couple years back, and he's like, I didn't like how that first album came out because it almost had like the garage sound to it. Like it wasn't cleaned up. It was kind of almost underproduced. But that was one of the things that I really loved about that album was that kind of almost do-it-yourself style, because that takes me back to my punk roots in a way, of being able to put out something that it's not commercialized, it's not overdone, it's not like for a time there every freaking album out there had auto-tune and autocorrect, and it's like you really have to write music anymore. You can just put it through a computer and have it cleaned up. And then they followed up with that really psychedelic single track that they broke down for It's Complicated Being a Wizard.
Well, let's not. That's a whole given, but I don't want to ruin the rest of the episode as we're, hopefully if I titled this correctly, we're going to be looking back at the kind of the first half, the sort of the early days up to, before 2010. I feel like that's a good, and then the next episode after this will hopefully do after that to present day, a little bit of the future as well. So let's not like completely go down the rabbit hole. I want to save some of that for later. I will. You're keen. I like it. Definitely one point to pick up on that. I've always found that they are kind of genreless, and I think John said that as well. They want to stay genreless. They want to stay agile. They want to just do what feels right, and it's just do what's best for them, kind of thing. Well, maybe not best for them, but do it. I don't know. Just play music and just have fun with it. I mean, they're mates and they just jam out. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. And like you can totally tell when they're up on stage, they love what they're doing. They have that cohesiveness in a way, and they get banter. They'll hang out after the show with their fans. They'll be walking around before the show. Like most bands, like once they get to a huge status, they just basically vanish off of the green room, or they're hanging out on their bus. Zach's usually like walking around talking to people. Johnny's kind of somewhere in the crowd at some point in time, or somewhere near the front of the stage, and they're approachable too, which is one of the best things about them. Because that was one of the things when I was growing up in the music scene. There were some artists that you couldn't approach because they carried that air of I'm better than you. I'm the reason that everyone's here at the show right now. I never got that vibe from these guys. These guys were always like, you guys are here to see us, and we're appreciative of it. I definitely get that vibe as well. And
Absolutely, absolutely. They definitely don't strike me down as arrogant at all or anything like that. And I mean, I've never had the pleasure of meeting them or any of them. I know Zoe's from England, but it's not that small of a country. Come on, yes. She's from Sheffield. I'm from down south, so there's it's a couple of 100 miles in between. So yeah, but yeah, I'd love to, honestly, if they did like 3 or 4 shows in London, I'd be all over that. Probably maybe one in the Midlands as well. I'd have to go. I just have to, because again, can't miss out on these opportunities. Plus, I've got to make up for lost time. We got Chris last episode, who's like even more hardcore as well. It's just another hardcore member, and he's seen them, something like 30 times. I think he said yourself. You've been to see them every opportunity you have, and I'm just so jealous. Honestly, yeah. I mean, the fact that people keep coming back as well just shows that they're good, and I don't know, just you want more. I'm just so jealous.
Exactly.
Can't wait. Hopefully soon. Hopefully, I don't know. I think they'll probably do. They're mainly touring in America at the moment. They're about to. Are they finished or are they about to finish?
I am not sure. I unfortunately haven't been able to catch up a lot on this last tour, because I know that they've been doing the opening for Alt J, and I know a lot of people are into Alt J, but that was never my cup of tea. It was kind of a little off for me, so I ended up missing that tour. They played the Staples Center out here, which I think is probably one of the biggest indoor venues that they've played in California area.
That stadium is massive, isn't it? Is it still called the Staples Center at the time of recording? I think they changed its name.
Yeah, no,
I know the one you mean.
It's the crypto.com arena, and it's like it's such a horrible name.
We're not sponsored, sorry. My local football team got bought out by some guys who were interested in crypto, and it's definitely opened my eyes up again to it. It's like, okay. Got to take it on the chin. But anyway, yeah, excellent. Man, that's so cool. Yeah, and then, yeah, very jealous. Very jealous.
It was really cool that the guys got involved in doing crypto too with their rally coin.
That's it.
That
yeah.
help out artists and stuff like that. That was really cool. I mean, that went up huge last year. I mean, somehow it just got this massive hype, and like the coin was almost selling for almost, I want to say maybe like $20.
Ooh, nice.
So I mean, they hit it big. I mean, it's kind of taken a recess lately, but that's kind of just unfortunately the economy in general.
Yeah.
I mean, all crypto is kind of taking a little bit of a dive. But I'm holding on to mine. I'm waiting for that next album to come out. I'm hoping that's going to give it another little boost once that hits, because the hype behind it that kind of gives it the drive,
Absolutely. Yeah, and I feel like since they've had Feel It Still, I feel like people will be like, okay, it's the people who did this. Okay, more people will come. More people will be paying attention. More people will go. Oh yeah, I mean, we'll get into the next load of topics, but like they were on Ellen, in the last week. I mean, that wouldn't have happened when you were, I mean, when you were watching them in SoCal, and they were warming up for that Dredge band. Was it? Sorry, I'm really bad. Yeah. Did you ever think they'd be on
Dredge? Yeah.
Dredge, yeah. I mean, do you think they'd be on Ellen?
No.
To be honest? Oh man.
I mean, honestly, I never really expect. Well, I mean, yeah, you kind of expect bands to get some TV play and stuff like that. Because I remember it was when People Say came out. There's a channel out here called Fuse. Or it used to be Spike TV, and it's kind of like the extreme music channel.
I've heard of Spike.
Yeah. So they were on there doing a couple of their songs, and like that was almost their first. I almost want to say like one of their first live TV show appearances to do something like that. Yeah. And then I saw him on Conan O'Brien. I saw him on Jimmy Kimmel, and I think they did the Jimmy Fallon show at one point.
Yeah, definitely. About that. They also did.
And then I mean,
sorry, yeah. Oh, go on, Kevin. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, for them to get to like Ellen, because Ellen it's
pretty mainstream.
A little bit more, since it's kind of like that daytime and a lot more mainstream, and it also hits kind of an older audience too, because it's almost like modern day Oprah in a way.
A little bit, yeah. Honestly, I'm just super glad. I mean, hey, they might not be they're like, wow, okay, we can play music on TV. It's like, okay, we're just like some guys from Alaska. I know that's what Zach would say. He'll just be like, yeah, all right, we'll do that. We're definitely not like crapping ourselves, but definitely. All right, but yeah, I just
the only claim to fame they had from their city out of Wasalla was the fact that Sarah Palin was from there, and then she has a big controversial
yep.
freaking political career. So I was like, yeah, we're going to separate ourselves from that one and make Wasalla known more for the music and the band, positive vibes instead.
I love Zach's story about the skate park and the graffiti. The fact that he was like going up against. It definitely was going up against Sarah Palin, wasn't it? It wasn't like she was on like the team or the board or something. But yeah, it was basically like, it's like, oh man, damn, that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, Alaska. Oh man, beautiful place. Anyway, also with other recent stuff. Kevin, have you ever seen Diners? Is it Diners, Drive-Ins and Dives? By any chance? Yeah, you ever seen that show?
Yes, I have.
Do you know who hosts that show?
Guy Fieri, right?
Guy Fieri, yeah.
Yeah.
Has he been up to much recently?
Welcome to Town, guys. I don't know if Diners, Drive-Ins and Dives is still around, but I know he's actually.
I know he's still around
in a lot of ways. Well, I know that he's still around for sure, but I don't know if his show's still around. But I know that he's kind of like a humanitarian in a way. He's.
Sorry, Kevin. Sounds like you got like a. It sounds like you got like an engine or something about to erupt. Oh, there we go. It's just gone out there. Sorry.
Sorry about that. I might have just been leaning back a little too far from the mic. Yeah, but no, like I know that he's kind of he's almost like a humanitarian in a way. He's a really big advocate for the LGBT community.
Oh, nice. Always good. Always good.
He did he did a huge ceremony for same-sex couples to do like a mass wedding for them, and he's a really cool guy, like all around. He just looks like the dude from Smash Mouth, which is funny to me.
Yeah, he does that.
I'm confused when I see him on TV. I was like, oh, it's Guy. Oh no, it's Guy Fieri. It's not the guy from Smash Mouth. But yeah, like he brings out, especially with the Diners, Drives and Dives. There's a couple spots out in my local area that he did one of those shoots at, nice. And I love eating. I'm a foodie in a way. Probably gonna just become completely obese one day from all the ways that I like eating and not working out on the backside. But I'll look for these places that he hits up. If there are little holes in the walls, like, all right, cool. So yeah, this one looks good. Let's go check this place out and hit it up here. And I saw that recently. Was that like a festival they were at? Where
yeah, they were on stage somewhere. Yeah,
drinks.
That's right. Passing out drinks. All right. Yeah, I know. It's just again a bit like Ellen's. Like, it just shows you how far they've come. Really, that they're there in the forefront, and I mean, yeah, it's just crazy to see. It's like, I can relate to that. It's something you could show someone who isn't a fan of, like. Oh yeah, he knows them. He's a big fan. I mean, I just find
they're pushing on they're pushing on an almost 20-year career at this point in time, and to still be going strong and making waves. I mean, that's good for them. That's something that a lot of bands couldn't do, and they're still riding that wave and getting the recognition that they deserve.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're done. I mean, it's been 16 years now, I want to say, and they'll probably count a little bit of Anatomy for Ghosts, so that couple of years. So yeah, they're pretty much 20 years. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but it's been, I mean, they've all said releasing an album a year is probably not the way to go, not to practice, but they were like, it was a good way of practicing for them. Yeah, no.
I know I had a conversation with someone about that on one of the Reddit boards where we were talking, like they missed the days of pushing out an album a year, because I mean that was really cool for a while. But one of the things you got to think about is if you, especially when it comes to art, because music is art, you can't force it. If you force it, that's how you end up with junk that it's either commercial or it doesn't carry the sound they want. Like they had a full album recorded at one point in time that I think Johnny kind of ended up scrapping because he didn't feel it was the sound that they wanted, and ended up recording almost an entirely new album after that. Put that one out instead.
Would that be Doomin' and Gloomin'?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. There's gonna be I think they're happy to like just move on, and tracks have kind of evolved. I think if you look at like Woodstock as well, you could definitely tell like there's some names, there's some titles on that. I mean, that definitely had been, taken from Doom and Gloom, probably. I say assumingly.
Yeah.
I mean, you take a song like Mr. Lonely featuring Fat Lip. Probably that sounds like something that would be on something called Doom and Gloom. I'm just going to make an assumption. I could be well off, but
Yeah. Well, from what I heard, Doom and Gloom was almost going to be a double album, where one was going to be a rock side, and then the other side was going to be more a hip hop inspired side. So I could totally see if Mr. Lonely was pulled from that hip hop side.
Yeah.
And like I love Far Side. Far Side's such a great group, and Fat Lip, The Loneliest Punk was such an amazing album. I saw them play at the Palladium, and Fat Lip was actually doing a DJ set to open up for Portugal. And I caught
nice.
Fat Lip walking around the crowd afterwards as I gave him some props, like, dude, The Loneliest Punk is such a great album. Girl, you look good. Can you cook? And I was like, yeah, you know what's up. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Yeah. Thanks, appreciate it. Like being able to get back to the fans like appreciation from an artist to a fan. It makes me want to see them even more.
Oh man, yeah, definitely. And something else, a little bit of a tidbit. I'm not sure we'll quite call it news, but there's been some edits. There's been some What Me Worry edits. There's been some remixes. There's been some people's takes on it. Kind of been putting them up on social media. Seen it on YouTube. Seen it on on Twitter, on Instagram, all those apps. Yeah. What are they just having fun? Is John just having fun? Kevin, what's going on?
I think he is having fun. Cause I think was the latest one is the LP. I'm probably gonna completely mask the name, but Giobi,
I think
Giobi. Yeah, I mean it's pretty decent. It's definitely a different take on it. It kind of gives it more of like a clubby vibe in a way. It's more dancey, and because that song's really dancey to start off with, but that one it
Oh.
So let me know when you want to start.
Yeah. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. Just had a bit of a technical issue on my end. I do apologise. Internet without. We were talking about John messing around, putting out some of these edits, then some collabs coming out, maybe just a little bit of hype fire, maybe for the new album. What do you overall think about it then, Kevin?
I think it's a good way to get it out there because, I mean, they're giving us their original track that they're putting out, and then they're letting everyone get their hands on it and, give us their own take on it and see how it kind of, folds out from there. So you can see how they're interacting with their fans and other artists too, and how different genres are kind of starting to have effects on their albums and things like that. And it's really cool because it's giving them this almost like a Matrix style approach to their music, where they're not just sticking with their style, they're encouraging other people to put their own style on it too, and take certain songs and expand them further than what they originally had. It's really, really cool.
Definitely. And recently they did a show at the Big Room in Columbus, Ohio, I think, somewhere around there. They put it up on YouTube. The radio station that was doing 92.9 FM. It's a good little 20 minute set. You get like a nice kind of a couple of songs in there. They do What Me Worry. They end with Purple, Yellow, Red and Blue. So obviously I was interested. Yeah. No, I thought it was a good little set. But yeah, they're definitely trying to build up that hype fire. But I mentioned that because at the end they're like, so when's the album coming? And Zach's like, well, summer. And John's like, well, I think it's late. I think it's late summer. And it's like, oh, brilliant. Just teasing us. Just play it.
Yeah. Well, I heard they're also doing a new song on there. I think it's called Grim, I believe. And I have not had a chance to hear that one. But, I mean, if it's going to carry on with that same vibe of What Me Worry, it's going to be a banger for sure.
I'm enjoying it. I'm warming more and more and more to it and enjoying it the more I'm hearing What Me Worry. And I'm like, I could take an album, 15 tracks like this, or 12 to 15, as kind of rumoured before. That I definitely weaseled out of John on the Reddit one time, like, how many songs are there? And he was like, there's about 14 to 15. That could obviously change.
Yeah.
I mean, things change. It's been probably almost 2 years since that happened. But yeah, yeah, that's a little bit of a claim to fame. But yeah. Anyway, keeping the hype fire. I like it. I'm happy with it. And hey, I mean, if you want to release the album, go for it, guys. Go for it. I'm ready. I'm ready. I think a lot of us are ready. But you know,
I mean, I sat there. I did the saving of the video on YouTube, and I brought it on my TV, and I had the whole countdown going on. And I was sitting there ready to watch it. I was like, "All right, cool, let's do this. Let's watch this live as soon as it comes out." And it hit me, man. I was like, "Damn, this is a great freaking track. It gets you up, it gets you moving. It's just like it just grabs you and makes you want to dance in a way, which is amazing for them to be able to continue to do that with all their albums."
Yeah, I like it. More of the same. Looking forward to it. So early summer, late summer, autumn, or
sometime
fall.
Eventually
This year, please. We've been patient. Yeah, we're going to be a little bit more patient, but yeah, hopefully not too soon. Okay, now onto the kind of the main meat and potatoes of the episode. Something I wanted to jump into. The main topic was kind of the first half of PTM. So basically, going down the venture, but I don't want to like dabble too much on everything, Kev. If there's something you want to like speak on or like jump in or have like a memory about something, I mean, we can start off with, we've already mentioned it, Way to You Vultures, 2006, the first official release. I mean, what should we do with this? Should we say favourite track of the album? And then maybe like but we can go both ways. Well, we do that for each one, and then we can talk about it. How about that? That'd be a good little one. So
yeah, we can roll with that.
Okay.
I mean, Waiter is it's so hard to actually just pick a single one off that album. I mean, M80 The Wolves is great. Chicago is amazing. Kill Me the King, Tommy, Horsewarming Party. My favorite thing about that album was actually when they would tour and play that album, because they would just be playing jam sessions.
Yes.
And if they play for like an hour and a half and you get like 5 songs stretched out in that hour and a half, and they'd flow between the songs, they'd pick up a rear, then drop it back in, then they'd mix in some other influences. They play some Beatles in the middle of it, some Helter Skelter, and this come right back into playing the album again. It's like, oh man, it was amazing. And then the EP that they dropped during that point, to The Devil Say I Say Air. The Devil, if you ever got a chance to see that live.
Yes. Oh,
hear
not
that
live,
live.
I've heard it.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite songs to have them play live.
Really?
It would grab the crowd, and everyone would just be completely hypnotized when it came down to that song.
Oh, nice.
And, but yeah, then I remember we caught them touring with, I think it was KK and the Weather Underground, I believe was the name of the band. And that's when they started doing, I think the recording for It's Complicated Being a Wizard, where it's that 20-minute something long track that they ended up breaking down into all those different tracks. And I mean, they never toured for that one live, but that album is just great. I have it on vinyl, and I'll just throw it on every now and then if I just need something to chill out to, because it's kind of got like that ambient feel, and it's kind of got like a psychedelic feel to it, and it kind of just flows in and out of these different vibes, and just it was really an amazing album. And I don't think they could ever make a translation of it to a live show, because it was just very almost abstract in a way, almost like an avant album, in comparison to Waiter You Vultures, which had a little bit of structure for each of those songs. I mean, that was freaking amazing. And I remember when Church Mouth came out, we saw them open up for Poison the Well, which is, I don't know if you've ever heard them. They're a hardcore band, like hardcore in a way. And yeah, I mean, they toured with some really interesting groups back in the day. But we met up with them after the show, and we were hanging out in their van, which they called the Red Beast. Is like just this Ecoliner, like E350 van. And Johnny has an iPod. He's like, "Hey guys, do you want to hear the new album? We don't have any names for any of the tracks yet, but here, check this out." And just brings out his iPod and lets us plug our headphones into it, and just starts scrolling through the tracks. I'm like, dude, this is freaking amazing, because it almost takes on this like a soul Motown feel in a way, and it is just so good. The whole way through, we're just like checking out all these new tracks before they're even hitting the studio or hitting the main mastering of them in a way.
That was Church Mouth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I really like Church Mouth. As I mentioned on the previous episode, yeah, big fan. But yeah, so you were in the van. Did they have the rice maker in there? Was it in
So
the
I don't even
famous one?
remember. I just know the van smell and I've been farting in it all day.
Oh man, that's grim. But yeah, not to
Yeah,
jump
I
too
mean that.
far. Oh, yeah, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say like that van became kind of like an icon amongst their old fans and stuff like that. Because every time we'd show up to a venue, we'd look to find the red beast, and we just like, all right, cool, it's over there. Let's go squeeze over there real quick. They're probably hanging out in the van. Maybe we'll go talk to them afterwards. They'll be hanging out. They're just like sleeping in that van, watching them like hearing them tell stories about sleeping in the van and just everything they had to do to get up to the point where before they even got a tour bus. And all the times it broke down, all the things that happened to the van, just all the crazy stuff that's gone on. And it's like, that van was a little subcosmos of the band itself in a way.
Because they
and
would,
everything that they represented.
yeah, they would tour in it and they would live in it while they were obviously
Yeah,
on the tour. Which
exactly.
it definitely wasn't fit for living, from what I've heard about it. But yeah, I remember I've heard stories about like they would because they're basically just touring and then taking the money from the shows and like maybe someone would give them a pizza or something like that, and then like just making rice every night. Really boring, but you know that's that's why I mentioned the rice maker. It's just little memory. But yeah, again, it's just great to see how far they've come. That they used to have to pay for their shows, gas money from doing the previous night's show, and just. Yeah, but
it's like just keep rolling it over just to keep the van on the road.
Yeah, just it's like a little challenge. How long can we keep this rust bucket going? Yeah, no, picking it back up. You were talking about Churchmouth a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, man, Churchmouth is such a great album. And I think off of that one, probably my favorite song is "Telling Tellers Telling Me." And that's just such a great track.
That's not that one. I wouldn't normally go for that one, but that is a good. Yeah, again, I really like it. So,
I mean, it's a great album through and through, and my wife really loves. I think it's Sleeper. Is it the bottom or Sleeper's Sleeping Sleep?
That's
where
it
starts off
sleeping sleepers
sleep. Yeah.
That's it.
Summer came and I lost my shoes. It's like, okay, that's a great way to start into a song, and then just kind of has that little funk flow through the rest of it. It's really good.
Yeah.
Then what Censored Colors came out after that one.
Yeah, Censored.
And I remember
Censored, yeah, 2008.
Their what was it? Their tour, not their touring, kind of the promotion for it. They had a media pack that they put out to a bunch of their fans where they gave them the option to wheat paste. They gave them a bunch of wheat paste stuff to put up of the monkey faces and stickers and all that too that they had on the gatefold from the record.
Oh, really?
And that was just really cool because they're basically kind of encouraging their fans to get out there and do guerrilla marketing for them, which a lot of people actually were able to do, which is really cool.
No way, I've never heard of this. That's brilliant. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta pull out my vinyl because I'm pretty sure I still have a couple of those wheat paste ones that had instructions on how to make your own wheat paste and how to go out and brush up the walls and put them up there and then put the next layer on top of that to fill that one in. And I mean, that whole album also is just another really just start to finish great album. Colors, Back Down, Out and In and Out.
Oh, yeah.
Never Please, Sit Back and Dream, Hard Times. Just the way that Johnny's voice hits on Hard Times is so good too.
Yeah, Lay Me Back Down. I really like. I don't know, the opener. That's a real easy one to go for, but I don't know. It just feels like I don't know. And they actually did a music video that was. Definitely not the first, because they had the AKA M80 and the Wolf, which was like a student project, I believe. I think it was like a university project or something. Someone made for them, or they were doing it. But
yeah.
Lay Me Back Down. That is a weird video. They're out in they're out in the desert. I'm not really sure what's going on. There's people running around. We're not really sure. Yeah, that's crazy time. Yeah, Sense of Colours, man. God, yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean, after that, they followed that one up with the Satanic Satanists, which
Yes.
again is that one. Um, People say was kind of what started really driving them into more of that mainstream
Yeah.
area where they started getting a lot more recognition from people out there. Because I mean, it had that political tone to it.
Mm.
It got them some, like I said, that was the one that I first saw them do the kind of a live show when they were on Spike TV or Fuse TV, whatever it was back in the time. And it was, excuse me, it was really, really good. And from that album, I mean, my favorite song off that album, as weird as it is "Lovers in Love." Just that almost kind of like
Mhm.
disco feel to that song. Just it makes me just every time I hear it, I have to get up and I have to move and I got to shake myself around a little bit because it pumps you so full of energy in
Mm.
that the vibe that it puts off, and it's
You
just so good.
you love a track 3. I think everyone you mentioned is like the third track so far that you really like. It's quite funny. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I've actually not just said, but I'll just mention quickly that yeah, Satanic. It's probably, I don't want to say it's probably not my least, probably not the least favorite, but it's definitely one where I'm like, okay, I like it, but is it my favorite? No, it's probably not. It's probably on slightly lower on the spectrum. I find it a little bit too, maybe a little bit. They were trying to do something a little bit mainstream. I don't know, maybe a little bit more pop and definitely less like hard rock, a little less metal on the album. I'm like, I don't know if I like it as much, but there is some good stuff on there, to be fair, and I do like the feel. And yeah, I don't know, that sort of everyone is golden, let you down, morning's kind of ending to it is just so, just I don't know, it just really hits for me. It's really dramatic, and it almost like pulls at the heartstrings a little bit for me. I just find it
yeah.
very yeah, I find it quite not emotional, but it's like quite hard hitting. Like John, he's telling a story, you know, like things about like I don't know. It's just yeah. Anyway, just thought I'd share
Yeah.
that. I don't know about you, but
No,
yeah.
like, hey, yeah, Mornings. His voice is just so soulful as he
Mm,
sings into it, and it's like, yeah, it definitely is one that if you're kind of having like a bad day, it's one of those songs that you can put on, and it's it's almost like a relatable song where it'll bring you out of a funk, just being able to connect with the music in a way, I guess you could say.
mm.
Yeah, and then I mean that one, and then they put out that acoustic version of it too,
The
the Majestic
majestic,
Majesty.
the majestic majesty.
Yeah,
Yep. The
which
acoustic.
was like a great take on that one because that was almost just like them stripping down and like hanging out before they would go into the studios, you know, pulling out the acoustic guitars and just saying, like, all right, cool. So let's see, we're gonna write this song and see how it sounds. So it almost gives you that album almost gives you a feel of what the precursor to the full recording actually is before they hit the studio on it, which is again just like such a great take on the band and how they put their music out and let people get insight in how things are done for them.
A little
Which
bit
is,
of
I
behind,
love it. It's
a
so
little bit
good.
of like how the sausage is made, a little bit behind the curtain kind of thing. Like, okay, here's a little something extra. I mean, we've gone through.
Exactly.
I mean, we've gone through. You know, Waiter, Wizard, Church Mouth, Scented Colours, Satanic Satanism, Majestic Majesty. It's almost in 3.5 years. That's a lot of content. They were busy. They were definitely, as we mentioned earlier, they were pumping out stuff pretty often at this point. You know, obviously
Oh
as you
yeah,
get,
they were just knocking album out after album after album.
I know.
And then it was I mean, that was coming up all the way into American Ghetto right before. I think American Ghetto was the last album they did before they got signed onto Atlantic, and it seems to me kind of like American Ghetto is almost like a forgotten album for most people because it was the
Yeah.
last album that they put out on their own in like their own production style before taking on In the Mountains and the Clouds, which
Yeah.
you know they had the music videos for that. They had Atlantic pumping it. Atlantic took over their message board and kind of like changed up like their fan interaction in a way. It went from the fans actually kind of running the boards to Atlantic having a little control over the boards and a little bit more control on how their marketing and everything was done at that point in time. Because I mean, just American Ghetto was another just great album. Pusher Party, fantastic pace.
Yes.
Uh, everything about that album is still like one of my favorite, and like it's kind of sad that a lot of people almost forget about it because
I'm
it
gonna have to
wasn't
hold
hyped
my
up as
hand.
much.
I'm gonna have to hold my hand up here. It's probably the not chronologically. I mean, I heard Woodstock and then I heard American Ghetto afterwards, and that was probably the so American Ghetto was like probably the newest, I'd say, more one that I've heard all the way through. I kind of slept on it a little bit because it was again before In the Mountain, so a little bit before my time. I wasn't too familiar with it, and then like years later, you're like, okay, let's actually dig back a bit deeper. It's probably a little bit. It was probably actually before Woodstock. I can't quite remember the
Yeah.
exact year, but it was definitely a lot later. I was like, oh, what's this? Another one. Definitely busy in that era. But yeah, I mean, yeah, American Ghetto. Yeah, I know. I don't know if I have a favourite on here, to be honest, but yeah, like Pusher's Party, they're all good. There's some good stuff on there. When the War Ends, just I don't know. It just kind of sounds like a blend of a combination of a little bit of what they've done previously, all right at the end, just one nice
Yeah,
complex
I get you saying,
creation.
kind of like a culmination of like their
Yeah,
different styles, just bringing them all together to make it sound a little bit good. It's such a like I said, it's such a great album. One of those ones that I can still put on and just listen to start to finish without being any songs. Just enjoy every single one all the way through.
definitely. And yeah, I'm not to put the barriers up or anything, but yeah, In the Mountain, Evil Friends, Woodstock, and then the next project as well after that. I'll probably go into that
Yeah.
a bit deeper, but yeah, have you got any memories or anything you want to share about them just quickly? I mean, the other three albums.
Yeah, I mean, so when In the Mountains, In the Clouds came out,
Mm.
I remember when they actually started premiering the video for what was it, Got It All, and
So American, there was one for that where they're just like
yeah,
jamming. They're like at a campfire or
yeah,
something, and yeah.
yeah, which was really cool because it almost felt like a play on. There's an old poem out there called "The Cremation of Sam McGee." You'll probably have to look it up. But it gave me that vibe about it, and it was interesting because at that point in time when that album came out, they I saw them at the House of Blues Disneyland of all kind of the weird places.
Oh right.
Before we even started, they premiered the video at the show and then came out and started playing,
Oh
which is just
really?
like kind of bizarre way to put it out there. But I mean, it worked for them, and that album kind of when it hit changed their live show a little bit for me because like I said it was the first album when they were on Atlantic, and I don't know if there was like maybe a contract relation that they had to go through where they had to play the album to hype it live to get this album sales going out there, but it kind of felt like they started taking back the jams and actually just playing a little bit more of the songs in their entirety and just giving me like cool, so now we get a showcase of the songs, but we're not getting those jam sessions. You're getting 15 song sets instead of 5 song sets. So it
Hmm.
was interesting to change of the live show at that point in time. I mean, it's still phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, but it was missing that jam session for me. That kind of really hooked me into the band at the first point, and it was great. I mean, it was something to see. It was really cool to actually see them hitting it big, getting a major label, getting promotion behind the major label, and seeing how they were adjusting to, I guess you could say, the new lifestyle of a label life.
Yeah.
And
Legal life. Yeah, definitely. There was some others as well. I mean, just quickly. I mean, so there was a video for So American, Got It All. There was one for there was a claymation for All Your Light, and then there was also a video for that. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I may have seen it once, kind of back
Yeah.
in the day, but it didn't really stick into my mind, unfortunately.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I'm just going through it, and then obviously Sleep Forever, the kind of combination
Yeah.
with Got It All. That's just such a great video.
I don't wanna sleep for. Yeah, no, it's such a great song too.
It's yeah, that is a powerful one. I mean, they always used to close with it as well. If they would do that, and then like Hey Jude, If I'm correct,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Oh,
that's
it would flow right into it, going to the na 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 part off "Hey Jude."
yeah.
Yeah, and then like you just get the whole entire crowd just singing right into it. And I think around that time they also started doing the weren't the Oasis cover at that point too on some of the tours. I can't
All
remember.
right, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah,
just a defining sort of time. I mean, it's when I jumped in. Maybe the marketing helped. I don't know. They got. I mean, yeah, they reached out definitely a lot more. And yeah, 2011. Christ, 11 years ago.
yeah.
Wow.
And that was the end of the album of a year uh, era of Portugal the
Yes.
Man, because then they started spacing it out just a little bit as they started coming through it. Which, you know, like I said, you can't force art, or you end up with
No.
stinkers. Because
No.
you know, it's just if you put out something that you're not proud of, people are going to feel it because you don't put your heart and soul into it, and it's going to translate onto the album at that point in time.
Mm. I mean, and then Evil Friends 2 years later. What I think
Yeah,
personally
I
is
mean,
probably their most complete piece of work. Personally, for me,
yeah.
personally, I feel like I can put the whole thing on, enjoy the whole thing. It tells a story. I don't know. I just feel like it
I
just
still
tells a
remember
great story. Yeah, sorry.
I still remember tripping out when I think it was Evil Friends ended up on a Taco Bell
Yes,
commercial.
yes,
And I was sitting there, I was just
yes,
flipping through the channels, and all of a sudden, I hear Portugal. I'm like, what is going on right now? I just see this kid running down the street eating a
yes.
chalupa, getting chased by his girlfriend's dad. I'm like, okay, good for them, man. They're getting that market
They're
money
getting
right
that, taking that bag.
now.
Yeah, Taco Bell bag. They probably got paid in. Hopefully, they got more than just Taco Bell for that. Hopefully,
Getting loaded up on free food, basically, yeah. But man, that's another great. I mean, Evil Friends great, Plastic Soldier's great, Creep in a T-shirt's a great
Oh
song.
yeah.
Hip Hop Kids, where it kind of almost feels like they're digging at the kids that were almost kind of like the scenesters at the time.
Yeah, that's
Atomic Man was a great one. The video for Atomic Man was just a trip. Where it has all their faces and they're doing kind of like the morphs between them.
yeah.
Holy Roller Hallelujah, Someday Believers, and of course the Purple, Yellow, Red, and
Yes.
Blue is just
Obviously,
such a great track.
still in the rotation as we speak at today, and I think it probably will be for. It probably won't be one of their longer ones. They keep tagging it on because it's only their like penultimate album as well. So it's still one of
Yeah.
their newer ones, we could call it. Yeah.
And like the crazy thing about that one was when they were touring, they would open with it and they would close with it.
Oh right, I knew they
So
would
they
open
would
with it a lot, but I didn't know they would close with it as well. All
so
right.
they did a redux of it basically, and so they would start off all the way into it, and then geez, I can't remember. I think they would transition into Another Brick in the Wall during the
Yes.
opening portion of it.
Yep.
And then at the end, they do kind of like a more funky version of Purple, Yellow, Red, and Blue. And I remember asking their manager about that one time. I was like, why are you guys playing the same song twice? And it was the funniest answer. It's like, well, Kanye West does it. I'm like, oh, God, I hate Kanye.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's just like one dude I could never get into. I mean, Through the Wire was a decent album back in the day in College Dropout. But after that, the dude just, his ego got the best of him.
He's we could go on about Kanye for a little while. Not that I want to, but and then Evil Friends, and then Woodstock, obviously. Yeah, I mean, kind
Yeah.
of just taking.
Oh, man.
We're talking about that sort of up in the mountain and the cloud, and then like the new like Atlantic coming in, and then like you're seeing those Taco Bell adverts, you're seeing those those extra music videos. Now you're seeing worldwide appeal, worldwide knowledge. I mean, I remember talking to like a doctor in like 2018, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of it. Oh yeah, I've heard of the album. Oh yeah." It was like everyone had heard of it, and as
Yeah.
we are the hardcore fans, it is that. I don't know if you've seen it. There's like a meme of like, "Oh, have you heard of Portugal the Man?" And then someone's like, "Oh yeah." And I'm like, "Name a song that isn't Feel It Still." It's like it is a bit of that. It is a bit, and they're like, I've had a few
Yeah.
people give some good answers. Yeah, but
Man,
yeah,
it was
man.
funny. I was at a USC football game which is kind of like the Spirit of Troy is their marching band, and I mean they've done a lot of stuff, being in Spartacus to playing with Coheed and Cambria. I think they played with Fleetwood Mac when they did Tusk, and
All right.
all of a sudden I'm at this football game, and I started hearing them come in to Feel It Still, and I'm like, holy crap! Now they're doing this live transition of Feel It Still into marching band music. At that point in time, I knew that they had basically Portugal had hit an entirely another level beyond probably anything that they even thought about at that point in time, when their music's being transitioned into one of the greatest marching bands for collegiate music is now doing their songs. And then you start to hear it almost everywhere. I mean, even my niece and nephew still love that song, and if it comes on, they'll be singing and they'll be dancing to it.
Yeah.
It's a trip,
nice,
man. It really is.
Yeah. But anyway, they're Woodstock, brilliant. What's your is there a favourite to have of it? To be honest, I mean, what is your personal highlight from it then?
I mean, I love number one, especially when they mix in Richie Havens, a couple of those, because I mean, the history behind the Richie Havens song when he first started doing that at Woodstock, he had to fill time, and he basically just jammed the song live.
Oh, really?
And then he had to go back and relearn the song in order to record it because they didn't know what he was doing. He was just kind of going for it, and the lines that he sings through it. Oh man, I'm like just drawing a blank on it right now, but it's just got emotion behind it, which is really good. And the noise pollution song that they did was really great. I was at the Troubadour, I think, when they played it live for the very first time, and people were just standing there completely awestruck at just this amazing new track that had just dropped right in front of all their eyes, and how it just gripped them and worked out so well for everyone.
Oh man, 2016 when that dropped right at the end of the year, it was like, oh yes, they're back. They're back, and it was definitely
Exactly.
I personally really like that one. That's probably my favourite. I also really like number one, but then I heard they did like a live version. There's a bit of a knockoff video on YouTube of someone at like a live show where they're doing it, and they do like an alternative version. It sounds amazing, and I'm like, man, why is it this as well? You know, it's like, oh man. So I don't know, maybe I was spoilt hearing that other one. I don't know, but yeah, I really like it. That and live in the moment. I mean, again, that one's a big hit as well. I mean, it's not on the Feel It Still level, but it is definitely like it's up there. It's definitely like a number 2 or a number 3 for more known stuff, more popular, we'll say. But yeah, all right. Any closing thoughts on Woodstock quickly? Or do you...
I mean, again, that was one of the albums that for me, it just got me right back to that kind of like the feel for some of the old music I used to listen to when they brought in that Fat Lip song. Because, man, The Loneliest Punk and Farside back in the day with Bizarre Ride, seeing them do the collaboration with him on that album, on that one song, just it really made me feel happy to see that they were able to do like a crossover genre portion at that point, going from their music with the rock and the hit alternative to bringing in some of the old school hip hop and introducing people to some of that stuff that I kind of grew up on, to some of the newer crowds that maybe didn't know who Fat Lip was or who Farside was or what the old 90s West Coast hip hop scene was at that point in time either.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, they're big Wu-Tang fans as well, as we know. I mean, that intro to What Me Worry is, I mean, as Zach said, it's a bit like Old Dirty Bastard on that one track. I'm forgetting the name of it, but yeah, just brilliant. But yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Good times. Good little recap. We went for everything, but you know, I'll on the next episode I'll probably do a bit more of a deeper dive on the more recent history and some bits and bobs on there. But yeah, the going back on, like, if we say, I'm just going to do it. I think we should do a quick run through of like American Ghetto. What's your favourite track? And then I'll say mine, and we'll go through everything, descending order. So, American Ghetto, number 1 track on there.
Yeah, American Ghetto for me probably gonna be All My People. That's a great track on one.
That's a good one, actually. It's solid. I'm going to stick with When the War Ends. I know I previously said it, but yeah, just caps it off. The
There's nothing wrong
Satanists.
with that.
Yeah. Satanic.
Yeah, I mean, for Satanic, I mean, like I said, man, it's Lovers in Love. It's that song that's just got that kind of like disco feel to it. It energizes you when you hear it. It just kind of gets you up and makes you want to dance. It's got so much energy behind it.
Yeah. I really like Guns and Dogs. I'm going to be honest. It's a bit of an outside pick, but I really like that one. But,
There's
yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
No. It's just, yeah, I really like that one. Moving on to the next one. Majestic Majesty. I mean, it's basically Satanic, but without Let You Down. Basically, that one's actually not on here. Funnily enough, did notice that actually when I'm just looking at it. There's only 10 tracks,
That
11
is
on
interesting.
Satanic. Yeah, maybe they just didn't. They
Yeah.
were like, this isn't. This is pretty similar to what we had, so won't bother. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Censored Colours. I already said Lay Me Back Down, so I know you briefly went on some bits and bobs, but if you had to pick one, it's like a number one.
I mean, yeah, Sit Back and Dream's a great one, even though I know it's like kind of really short. It was actually Sit Back and Dream was a transition to another song,
Hard
if I
Times.
remember. Yeah, and like the way that those kind of just flow in together is just so good, and the way that the horns hit in, or no, are the horns in our Hard Times or Our Times? I can't remember.
God, I'd have to double check. I don't want to, but you're right. It does. It is a bit like a concept concept album where it kind of flows really well. That second half definitely of Censored
Yeah.
Colours. Yeah. So Churchmouth.
Church Mouth still gonna be telling Teller's telling me, because that's just
Teller's Telling Me.
it's fun.
Nice.
It's a good song. I mean, the album's all good all the way through, but again, that's one of those songs. If I can hear it, I'll just put it on repeat in a way.
I'm torn between My Mind and Shade. There's something about that. A little bit dark, a little bit deeper, but I don't know. There's just something about them. I really like them. Not a lot. I'll push for Shade. There we go. I'm not too familiar with Wizard. I have to be honest. It's something that they're also quite short as well. So I don't know if you can have a favourite. I mean, you said you're really hype on it. You really enjoy it.
Well, it's one of those albums that they broke it down later on,
Yeah.
because it was recorded as a single track, and then they went back and they broke it out from there. So I mean, you can
Yeah.
basically say the entire thing is how I like it,
I
just
didn't
because
know.
it plays all the way through, start to finish.
I did not know. I heard that they had some involvement with KK and the underground. Yeah. I've definitely heard that name associated with PTM before, but then I didn't know it was through this. I mean, yeah, it's just interesting. Yeah. All right, and then Vultures.
Oh man, Vultures. Again, this is like one of the hardest ones to pick because everything's so good on it. But if I had to pick just a single song off here, it would probably be Chicago. Just the jam sessions when they would play Chicago live and the energy they put into it. And that's probably my favorite song off that whole album.
Not to be a copycat, but yeah, definitely. I was thinking Chicago as well. That intro as well. It's just it's hardcore. It goes in hard at the beginning. You're like, damn, what have I put on? But yeah, Chicago. Just man, that first one. We were set off on we treated there. We treated well. But yeah, yeah. All right then, Kevin. I think we've got time for one last little tidbit. The PTM quiz. You've heard of 20. You've heard of 20 questions. Okay. I have a track in my mind. Basically, it's anything they've ever released. From we'll say from Waiter to current day, basically, because you've got 20 questions. You can only answer yes or no. I can only answer with a yes or no. Well, not 20, but Chris on the last one got it in 5, but it was quite easy. We'll see how you do with this one. All right. Do you need some yeah, do you need anything? I don't know, because some questions you could ask. Sorry.
So you want me to ask you the questions and see if I can narrow it down?
Yeah,
right?
essentially, yeah. Sorry, brain's got a little bit
I gotcha.
got a bit foggy there, but things like you want to break it down by years, album, single, You can use the cheat as well. Have we mentioned it before? But we've basically mentioned everything, so you can't. But yeah, I'll let you get rocking then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Is it post-Atlantic record or post-signing to Atlantic?
So after Atlantic Records.
After.
Right. No.
Okay. So. All right. So that'll get that in there. Is it a song with an extended title with like the parentheses on it?
No.
Okay. Let's see. Is there a music video for it?
No. I don't think there is. Unless someone's made like a fan one, but I don't think there is.
Okay. Is it on Evil Friends?
It is not. No, but you said post-Atlantic, so it would have been... And I said no to that. I'll let you
sorry.
answer. I won't count that. So you've only had 3. Don't worry. You said post-Atlantic,
Okay,
and I said no. That's all right.
So it's before they signed to Atlantic Records then?
That's... Yeah. Well...
Okay, there you go. I want to narrow that down.
No, that's fine.
Myself with the wording on that one too.
We're not gonna. Yeah, don't worry. I'm not gonna count that. That's all right.
All right.
That'd be nice.
Let's see. Is it on Waiters?
It actually is. Yes, it is on that.
Is it Tommy?
You sure you want to guess? Are you sure you want to guess?
No.
If you guess and
like,
dive in,
we're like narrowing it down. So let's see. Is it a one-word song or one-word title?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. Is it an animal?
It is not an animal.
Is it a city?
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess, is it a person's name?
It is not a person's name.
So now we are left with Weir.
And it is exactly Waiter. Yes, Waiter from Waiter You Vultures. I tried to trick you out with that one. I thought you'd forget it because it's in the title, but very nice, very nice. I think that was 8 or 9. Yeah, not bad actually, not bad. I should have mentioned that like if you guess and get it wrong, normally in like 20 questions that you disqualify, but my bad on that one. But anyway,
No, I got you.
Nice job, Kev.
I appreciate the leniency.
It's just a bit of fun, I think, just to like tie the episode into the beginning. I am, it's not like I'm keeping score and we've got like a leaderboard or anything, but I might work on that that one. Yeah, I definitely feel like there might be opportunity in the future if I keep doing this to have like get a few people on, and we'll do like some like hardcore ones, and we'll do like a 100 question one where you've got to get like 5 or something, or like something like that. I don't know. I've got some ideas anyway. Yeah, again, that is everything. That is all the topics that I wanted to talk about today, Kevin. Yeah, again, thank you for coming on short notice. Happy to get this recorded. Hope you had fun. You were really knowledgeable, and it was good. This is what I want to do. I want to get people on, and we get people telling the stories, and sharing their thoughts and memories and experiences. Because if it isn't, if the fans aren't involved, then there really isn't a band to cherish. So yeah, once again, thank you for coming on.
Hey, I appreciate you having me, man. This was fun. I liked it because, like I said, man, it's like you're saying, it's about the fans as much as it's about the music and the community that the fans create amongst everyone. It's great to hear people getting this involved on the backside, and the friendships that we're kind of like creating, and the memories that we're sharing about the band on the backside too. This is cool. I like it. This is fun.
Thank you. Anyway, have you got anything you want to promote? Any social medias or anything? Yeah, The floor's yours.
No. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any social medias to put up or anything like that. I've
You're off the
kind of
grid.
just, yeah, I don't really have much going on the backside. I'm just waiting for, like I said, to get back into the habit of going to shows like at least
Nice.
once a week again, and it's definitely looking forward to the next album
Once
once
a
it
week.
finally gets a chance to drop, and I'm excited for it. In all honesty, the single they just put out has got me really hyped for how the new sound is going to come out.
Excellent. Have you got anything booked up? Any tickets yet for anything? Any shows, or are you still waiting? Still waiting for something to grab your attention?
I
Grab
mean,
your
like I said, I
interest.
got my Weird Al tickets coming up.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. Yep.
Yeah, I've got. Actually, I'm gonna go see Dead and Company coming up pretty soon at Dodger Stadium with John Mayer, who's another phenomenal guitar player. I got Rammstein tickets that are finally getting
Oh
rescheduled. I'm
wow.
really excited for that one.
Excellent, man. That's gonna be epic. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a little
that.
bit. I'm a little bit outside the box. I'm gonna go see Pond. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
No.
They're
Is it what type of music is it?
it's like psychedelic. I would probably say that's probably the best way to call it. They're the touring band for Tame Impala. If
Oh,
you've ever heard of him,
nice.
yeah, they're like, so basically it's just Kevin, not you. It's just him, but obviously he writes everything, and then he gets like a touring band when he goes on tour, and it's a lot of members. They're all from Perth, Australia, but they're just there's Weird, and then there's them. They just released an album last year called Nine, which is phenomenal. I really like it. Yeah, I'm hoping to go see them. They're in again. Not as many shows in England. I've got it's kind of like basically anything in London or just outside. I'm in the south, so looking forward to seeing them. Hopefully a visit from John and the gang. Hopefully later this year, but crossing fingers. That would be awesome. Anyway, again, Kevin, thank you for coming on. It was really nice to talk to you. Sorry for the edit if there was some audio trouble in the first half, but we sorted that out. Kevin, you true professional, sorted it out on his own, and yeah, it was good. Yeah, thank you for listening. Should we leave like a little? No, you know what, we won't. We'll just crack on with the ending. Again, thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, thank you. Probably isn't that many, but I'm doing this for the people, just to give back a little. So again, any final thoughts, Kevin, before we wrap up?
Yeah, just keep it evil, guys. Keep going to those shows. Keep supporting the bands you love. And if music is your thing, make sure that you let those bands know that you appreciate them. I'm sure all the bands
Definitely.
appreciate you guys. That can see them too. So just keep the support going.
Definitely. All right, Kevin. One more time. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Take it easy. Cheers. Bye. Bye.